theoretisch. Und hier geht es jetzt aber direkt weiter, und zwar mit einer Modelegende der 90er Jahre, Karl Kani, eine Hip-Hop-Marke aus dem Hip-Hop heraus gegründet. Und die arbeiten seit vielen Jahren mit SNIPES zusammen. Ein auch in Deutschland und im Grunde dann am Ende des Tages auch do-it-yourself gegründetes Unternehmen, das dann natürlich durch die Decke gegangen ist. Ich nehme an, dass der ein oder andere auch schon mal sich darüber informiert hat. Und deswegen bitte ich jetzt Simon Bus und Karl Kani auf die Bühne. Ich hoffe, die sind schon verkabelt.
Einen großen Applaus bitte.
Ja.
Come to the stage, please. Come to the stage, guys.
Deswegen werden wir jetzt auch auf Englisch switchen, was wir alle gar nicht können. Hi, nice to have you here.
How are you? How are you?
Hallo, grüß dich.
It's a pleasure.
So, erstmal männliche Begrüßungsrituale. Das muss alles freundlich und respektvoll umgesetzt werden. Wir haben vielleicht einen Stuhl zu viel. Ich würde sagen, wir lassen die Mitte frei. Das sieht sicherlich super aus. Nee, geh mal. Ich glaube, es sieht besser aus, wenn ich mich so daneben setze. So. Perfekt. Genau. Karl, we have a legend here in the house. And you founded your brand at the end of the 80s and the beginning of the 90s. Could you explain us a little bit, how was it back then? How come where does the idea come from to do that?
Yeah, well, basically, you know, we grew up in the streets of Brooklyn, New York, and growing up, a lot of competition with my friends in terms of fashion was concerned. So we were always trying to compete with each other, trying to find the freshest clothing. And anytime we found something really cool, we didn't want to tell my friends where we got it from because we didn't want to wear the same clothing stuff. So my father used to get this clothing made with a tailor. So I decided one day to ask my dad, can I make me some clothes with his tailor? So I started making my own clothing. And when I wore it, my friends were like, oh man, that's cool, where'd you get it from? So instead of telling them about my tailor, I says, if you want one, I'll make you one. So I started making clothing for some of my friends in the hood. And after that, a lot of rappers started, or MTV wearing clothing. So I started dressing all the rappers in their videos, and that's when things started to take off from there.
The name, Kani, it means can I do it? So is that the truth? Is that the truth about the name?
Yeah, because you know, there was a lot of self-doubt at the beginning in terms of, can I really be successful in this business? So can I was a question I used to ask myself all the time. Can I be successful? Can I come from the industry and build an international brand? And I didn't know the answer to that question, but I know if I call myself Kani, every day I have to answer that question, yes I can. So that's where it came from.
We have a great picture of Tupac here on the back. And you have a lot of stories with him. I've listened to some yesterday, but there's so many people and they have to listen to it too. So can you tell us your story with Tupac?
Yeah, you know, Tupac was a very interesting guy. Like, he used to wear my clothing all the time, so I really wanted to meet him. So, you know, back in the days, there was no cell phones, so it was really hard to get in touch with people. So we got to contact his record company, and we got a contact for him that he was going to be in Beverly Hills at the Hotel Nico. So he set up a meeting with him. We go to his room, we knock on the door, and he told us to come in, and he's typing the script to the movie at his desk, and he's smoking blunt after blunt, having a very intelligent conversation with me, but he never looked me in my eye, right? So I didn't really know at what point should I ask him the question about doing a photo campaign for me. Finally, room service came to the room, knocked on the door, and I said, this is my opportunity. So I said, yo, Pac, like, how much would you charge me to do an ad for Karl Kani? And he got really quiet. And I'm thinking to myself, man, I messed up. I shouldn't have asked him this question. He's thinking that's the only reason why I came here. And he came back to me, he says, yo, man, look, you from the culture. I ain't gonna charge you for nothing. Like, you know, you my man, and I'm down. I wanna see your brand blow up. And, you know, 2 weeks later, he went to New York, he did the photo shoot, and it's been history since then. We did the most iconic campaign with Tupac, and he never wanted any free clothing. He always wanted to pay for his stuff. So he's a true dude from the streets, and he's a man of his word, for sure.
It's a great story.
Yeah.
And I think that is even special for hip-hop, because real recognize real at the end, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it is what it is. Like, you know, Tupac was from the gutter. He knows what it is, and he knows how hard it is for guys from the streets to build their own business. He felt like his exposure could really put the brand out there in a big way. And to this day, Tupac was one of the main reasons why our brand has been so successful international. He's an iconic figure, and we have over 350 pictures of him wearing Karl Kani, which wasn't any paid endorsement. It was just because it was real.
But there were two things. He doesn't use the name Karl Kani very often in songs.
Yeah,
That's a pity, right?
Yeah, it
but,
is a pity, yeah.
But he's also like a brand ambassador, even in interviews when he got shot.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, we talked about that last night. So, you know, when Tupac got shot, unfortunately, in Quad Studio in 1996, I think it was, or 94.
94.
94
on
in
my
New
birthday.
York. In your birthday in New York, right? So he gets shot, and he does the first interview for Vibe magazine, and they asked him, say, yo, Pac, like, how did you know you were shot? Like, how did you feel? He says, I didn't know I was shot. All I knew, I could feel the heat of the bullet pierce through my Karl Kani drawers on. And like, he just always representing the brand in a certain interesting way, for sure.
That's crazy.
Emotions are very important in storytelling. So it's not only Tupac that you are like still working with the story that you have with him. There are other peoples too, other artists like Alia, for example. Could you tell us a little bit about what you did in Paris?
Yeah, well, you know, Aaliyah, she's a special person. You know, we met with her back in the days, and she wore my hoodie on her first album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, and she surprised me with that because I didn't even know she was going to wear the album, wear the clothing on it. And Aaliyah is the one who inspired us to do the women's collection because she took men's clothing and made it so sexy and so dope. She opened up the Karl Kani brand to a lot of females as well. So she's definitely an iconic figure and somebody that I'm really blessed to have known that we could work with her, and somebody that I've known and been able to build a friendship with her as well.
Simon, you're sitting here quiet in the middle of us till now.
Yes, sir.
No. So I have to bring you into the conversation. So you're working for SNIPES, obviously, and SNIPES is working with Karl Kani, obviously. So how did you come together with Karl Kani, and what is like the plan? What is the vision?
Yeah, so the year was 1999 when a young Eminem dropped his breakthrough album, the Slim Shady LP, and a year before that, our CEO and founder, Sven, he opened up the first SNIPES store in Essen, Germany. And other than the competition, he did not focus on performance goods. He focused on lifestyle goods, on brands that are relevant in the hip-hop community, in the hip-hop culture. And this was his concept. And he quite fast learned that if you want to expand a concept like this, you can't do it with your daily turnover you take from the cash register. So it's not possible. So what he did is doing SNIPES at daytime and doing wholesale at night. So quite like a superhero, just without the tights. And in 1999, he worked for a Dutch agency, for a wholesale agency called Urban Trends. And they represented brands like the older ones, may know them, RP55, Maurice Malone, And One, and obviously Karl Kani. So this is where Karl and Sven met, and they worked together for years until the Dutch company went out of business. And that was the moment, I would say, where we see a turning point, where it's not anymore we are working for each other or with each other. It was the question of, hey, now there's the global Karl Kani license on the table. Let's talk about that, right, Karl? And it was your decision you could make then.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, at that time, you know, we had a lot of decisions to make, and, you know, SNIPES owner Swen came to me and says, Karl, you know, we really want to build Karl Kani to be a household name here in Europe, and I want you to trust in me to do that. But there's a lot of companies out there who offer you a lot more money than I am right now to build this thing back. We want to take our time and grow the brand back. And he said the magic words to me, take my time to grow the brand back. So it was no decision to me. It wasn't about the money. It was about longevity and legacy. So we decided to roll with SNIPES, and we were able to grow together. And now we're growing together, and SNIPES now has 300 stores in the USA market, which we're going to rebuild back the Karl Kani brand there too. So all these things has been written and been manifested from back in the days, and we're just a pleasure to work with them throughout the last 3 decades for sure.
I mean, what you're saying is exactly what happened in the last years, like brands like LS or Fila or Starter, like legendary brands that were worn in hip-hop circles. They were brought back, but only for just one season, 1 year, and after that, Fila was again on, I don't know if I tell the truth, on the Grabbeltisch bei Aldi Markt. Aber, sorry, that's where I saw them before they had a hype again. But how do you work the brand that it's not like burning out?
So, in a nutshell, you should set your goals and don't overpace. Like a famous German saying, das Spiel ist 90 Minuten und was zählt ist auf dem Platz. Which means it's a marathon, not a sprint. So,
Bei denen genauso.
so sure you want to make sales, right? And if you have a brand and you place your bet on a brand that is assigned to a trend, you tend to reach your goal maybe a bit quicker because you assume the trend is dying sooner or later. And what you should do is not, you should resist the desire to make some quick euros, and you should build up the brand carefully and authentically detach it from the retro styles you're selling or that are trendy, and build up a new legacy. So when I guess, I don't know, it was like peaking the 90s revival you're referring to in 2016, 17, something. Yes, I would say Karl Kani was one of those retro brands. We've seen the huge legacy with artists like Tupac, Dre, Biggie, Nas. And what we did was not put the tape on rewind and repeat it all. No, we started to gently detach the brand from its past and build up a new legacy that is aiming at a community that you have to see, like 14 years old teenagers, they haven't seen Pac, Biggie, Nas in their prime. They don't know them. So we have to find artists that they are looking up to, and do campaigns and product they are looking for beyond the trend, and build up a brand that is relevant at the time.
What we have seen is like the collaboration with Ariana Grande. Could you tell us about that a little bit?
Ariana Grande, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was like one of the most biggest collaborations I was looking forward to. You know, Ariana Grande, she has the most Instagram followers in the world, and she could wear any brand that she chooses to wear, right? She decided that she wanted to wear Karl Kani for her video that she did with Future called Every Day. And once she wore the bubble coat in the video, that really changed the game for us. And it really just introduced the brand to the new younger generation again, because the brand had legacy, but the new generation wasn't that familiar with it. So Ariana Grande really opened up the brand to that. And she took many pictures in the brand. So the connection to us is just really strong. And I feel like the reason why she did that is because Karl Kani is very different than any other brands, because no other brand could ever say they started streetwear before Karl Kani. It just wasn't, it's not reality. We were the first ones to represent the culture and represent hip-hop to the fullest from day one.
But it's also about expanding, like shifting into different like fractions, not only doing trousers and shirts and stuff. You also started, as far as I got it, a sneaker brand, the Karl Kani sneaker brand.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us a little bit?
Coincidence.
Yeah. I see them. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, yeah, we've seen that we're successful. So in 2014, we tried our first attempt to reignite the whole Karl Kani brand, and there's a good story to it. I can tell, hopefully. So we refer to a consumer research is that SNIPES is always seen as the older sibling. And being seen as the older sibling is super cool. It's the best thing that could happen. Like think back. Your older brother or your older sister is the one who brought you the best rap album ever, the first rap album, who brought you to the first party, to the first drink maybe, or who showed you the favorite movie. So the older sibling is super influential, right? And because you always remember this person as introducing you to the good things. And in 2014, we had this event in Cologne. We invited every relevant buyer from Europe to this event. We had good music, good food, influencers, partners. This was crazy. Everyone was loving it, but no one bought anything because we didn't have the momentum. It a year before Ariana Grande wore the puffer jacket, which sparked this momentum a little bit. And we were like, okay, did we fail as an older sibling? No, we don't, because even older siblings, they need a momentum. And what we did then is we cleared the market a bit. We tried again a year later when all the cool kids, after Ariana Grande wore it, started wearing Calcanai brand again. And yeah, like the older sibling. Not everything at once. It's time after time, and you have to drop some newness every once in a while. Like your older brother or sister, she didn't come with a big box saying, hey, have fun in puberty. It was like, okay, here's like the CD, here's like a cigarette, do it. And after we reignited the brand, we've seen there's more. There are more chances. And in 1996, there was Karl Kani footwear. Karl already did it in the 90s. And we said, okay, let's do this. When apparel is successful, why not move to footwear? And so we have a product team at SNIPES who did a really great job in building up those sneakers. We have a lot of different models. We have a lot of different styles for everyone. So I bet that everyone in this room would find a pair of Calcanai sneakers that fits you. I bet that. And we have a good distribution line. So we started Calcanai footwear in over 350 SNIPES stores across Europe, in our e-commerce on snipes.com and our new SNIPES app. So this was the starting point until we released the product to more retailers with the second season. We had good luck with the supply chain due to the pandemic. And yes, a little bit of marketing helped as well, I can say. So walk your own legacy. The claim of Calcanai footwear is like walk in sneakers with the name of one of the most iconic brands in hip-hop culture. And yeah, it was a pleasure to reintroduce it to the market.
What would you say is the reason that you were very successful in reintroducing this sneaker brand? Because it's under your top 5 sold items at SNIPES. What is the reason?
That's a good one. I think that that it's a good product. So, period. We have a product that our consumer, our community is interested in. They know the brand, and over the years we struggled over the years. But right now we're on a track where everyone says, okay, Calcanai, that's a brand. I love wearing the shirt. I love wearing the pant. I love wearing everything. Why not the shoes? So we were lucky that we had an apparel brand that was authentic to our community. And we could bring up shoes, and that's not a no-brainer. So like Nike or Adidas, they have decades of legacy and building up their brands. And we had this apparel brand, and it worked well, transforming it to a footwear brand as well.
When you're mentioning Nike and Adidas, what would you say is the difference between a legacy that they have and the legacy that you are working on with Karl?
To me, it's definitely that the legacy of Nike and Adidas, for example, and other footwear brands is in sports. So Nike is working with LeBron and others, and Adidas is always performance-driven. So all soccer players are wearing Adidas cleats, and that's it. Calcanai is not performance. So Calcanai is true hip-hop culture, and that is what's the difference? So we're aiming at other testimonials. We're aiming at a whole different culture and community, and that differentiates our footwear from the rollout, from the marketing perspective, to what Adidas or Nike are doing.
And how are you working on the balance, like balancing the hip hop uniqueness that this brand has, and like going out of it, or is that never planned? Do you still want to stay in the hip hop lane? Because maybe could be because hip hop is so large now, there's no need to go outside of the hip hop lane. But
so if you want to buy a pair of Calcanai footwear, you don't have to answer who's your top 5 rappers at the cash register. So
but I did last night.
It would
right,
be,
Karl?
yeah, that was a great conversation.
That was a test, I guess.
Yeah, so it's not that deep, but in marketing, yes, we stick to that culture. And what Karl did in the early 90s, late 90s, with artists like Tupac or Aaliyah, is what we are doing right now. So for the last campaign, we launched in. My team is sitting somewhere out there. I guess they will kill me if I answer wrong, but I guess it was February. Any reaction? No? Okay, it could be February. And we started the new campaign with 5 testimonials from GSA, from France, Italy, Spain, and Poland. And we did not go to an agency saying, hey, do you have 5 guys who can rap and build up a campaign? No, we have an artist and athletes team and a campaign team, and the whole Snipes marketing put their heads together and filtered the best possible artist and campaign to do that. So what Karl did in the past with Tupac is something we did with an artist called J-Lord from Italy. He's from Naples, he's an upcoming artist, and we worked with him even before the campaign, and he was about to release his new album. And on this album there's a song called Calcanai Flow. So how much this is a match made in heaven to find an artist who's writing a song about the designer of the brand. And after we launched the campaign, Karl and J-Lord met in New York to shoot the video, right?
Yeah. It was an amazing experience. We met in New York and Brooklyn, actually. I grew up in, ironically, that's where we filmed the video. And I did my cameo in the video for him. He's a great dude. The song is hot. And it was just a good chance to be part of that and to spread the culture worldwide. It was just amazing to work with him and be part of his song, for real.
What we are talking the whole time about is orientation. So to orientate yourself, you got to have some values. Do you have the same values right now, today, that you had back in the days when you started all this?
Yeah, absolutely. Our values has always been the same thing from day one. Like, failure is not an option, and we got to find a way to make it. And it's that kind of attitude. It's like, to me, success is not meant for everyone, right? So you got to dig deep and stand out from everybody else. So, like, even though when times get hard, the times get tough, you got to, like, find a way to make things happen, because no one really cares if you're not making it in life and stuff like that. Everyone's trying to make it. So you got to build a really strong team, a really strong unit, and go out there and have a plan and set your goals and go out and attack. And that's always been our motto. And 30 years later, we always have the same energy what we had from day one, for sure.
And we've talked about the business side of Calcanai all the time. The last question is for really your private feelings. How is it for you to see young kids wearing Calcanai today, 30 years after building up the brand?
Man, it's an amazing feeling. It's like, I feel like I'm living in a dream sometime, you know what I mean? I feel like, all the hard work and dedication is starting to manifest itself. And it makes us want to work that much harder to continue the legacy going. Because, like, growing up, like, Ralph Lauren Polo has always been a brand that I respected a lot. And Ralph Lauren's been around since 1967, even before I was born. So we know we still have a long way to go to catch up to where they are, but I feel like he set a blueprint as to how you grow a business and go from decade to decade. So we still have a lot more to go in our journey. We just really focus and feel good about where we are right now, for sure.
And I'm sure you guys are on a good way. So thank you, Simon.
Thank you.
From Snipes, for your time. And of course, please a warm applause for all of them, but for Calcanai.
Thank you very much. And a big round of applause for Nico and Falk as well, right?
It's your stage.
Great
Thank
job.
you, Karl. It is a pleasure. Thank you. It is a legend, so please say goodbye to Karl Kani.
Thank you. Thank you.